Right now, gravity is pressing on every cell in your body, and you cannot feel a single bit of it. Your bones are fighting it. Your heart is pumping uphill. Your muscles hold you up without a word. Now imagine you take all of that away for one whole year. In 2015, NASA ran the cleanest experiment on the human body ever attempted. They took two men who were genetically identical, twin brothers, same DNA, same age, same face. One brother, Scott, they strapped into a rocket and sent to live in space. The other brother, Mark, they kept right here on Earth as a perfect control. Same body, different planet. For 340 days, scientists watched what space did to one body, using the other as the control, and what they found rewrote what we thought we knew about the human body. This was not a quick trip. 340 days is most of a year, non-stop. So what does 1 year in space actually do to your body? Let's go through it, head to toe, because some of it reverses, some of it lingers, and one part of it genuinely scares the doctors. Stick with me. The changes start at the top of his head and run all the way down to his cells. By the end of this, you will never look at standing up the same way again. Let's start with the strangest one. In space, you grow taller. Down here, gravity squashes your spine all day. The soft discs between your vertebrae get compressed flat. Take gravity away, and those discs drink up fluid and swell back out. Your spine stretches like a spring nobody is sitting on anymore. Scott Kelly came back about 5 centimeters taller than his twin brother Mark. Two brothers with the exact same genes, and one of them was suddenly the tall one. Now, before you book a flight to get taller, here is the catch. The moment he landed and gravity grabbed him again, he shrank right back down within days, and the stretching is not free. A taller, decompressed spine often means weeks of nasty back pain after a mission. So you go up, you grow, you come down, you shrink, and your back files a complaint. And the height was the gentle part. Your skeleton was about to start dissolving, and that one is not so easy to undo. Your bones are not solid statues. They are living tissue that rebuilds based on how hard you use them. On Earth, every step you take loads your bones and tells them to stay strong. In space, nobody walks. You float. Your legs carry nothing, ever. So your skeleton makes a logical decision. It stops bothering to stay strong. Astronauts lose around 1 to 1.5% of their bone mass every single month. 1% a month sounds tiny. Stack it up over a year and it is brutal. The calcium has to go somewhere. It floods into the bloodstream and out through the kidneys, which means astronauts are at real risk of kidney stones hundreds of kilometers from any hospital. This sounds like science fiction, but it is verified in every long-duration crew NASA has flown, so they fight back the only way they can. 2.5 hours of exercise every day. Treadmills with bungee straps. A weight machine that uses vacuum cylinders instead of gravity. Picture doing leg day in zero gravity every day for a year just to keep the bones you were born with. Without that brutal routine, an astronaut comes home with the skeleton of someone decades older. And here is the part that stings. Even with all that exercise, they still lose bone. It only slows it. Their bones recover, but slowly. It can take years back on Earth to rebuild what one mission took away. Bones are slow. Muscles are fast. And they give up almost immediately. On Earth, just standing up uses dozens of muscles you never think about. In weightlessness, those muscles get to retire on day one. Some astronauts lose up to 20% of their muscle mass in as little as 5 to 11 days. Think about that. In 1 week of floating, the body starts undoing months of work at the gym. The legs and back lose the most because they fight gravity the hardest down here. Even the heart is a muscle, and it gets lazy too, but more on that later. That is why astronauts come home looking lean but feeling weak, often too weak to stand. Quick question, could you do 2.5 hours of hard exercise every day for a year with no days off? Tell me in the comments. Keeping your muscles is a full-time job up there. But muscle was the easy part. The next change happens to your blood. Here is something you have done all your life without noticing. Gravity pulls your blood and fluids down toward your feet. Your heart spends all day pumping that fluid back up against the pool. Take gravity away, and that fluid stops draining down. It rushes up into your chest and head instead. Within hours, an astronaut's face puffs up, round and red, like an allergic reaction, and their legs go thin and skinny as the fluid abandons them. Crew photos from the first days in orbit all show the same round, swollen faces. Astronauts have a blunt name for this: puffy face, bird legs. About 1 to 2 liters of fluid migrate upward out of their legs. Their bodies get confused, think they have too much fluid, so they pee it out and stop feeling thirsty, which is dangerous because dehydration in space is a quiet, sneaky problem. The good news is the legs and face go back to normal within days of landing once gravity does its job again. But all that fluid pushing up into the skull leads to something far more serious than a puffy face. When fluid floods the head, the pressure pushes on the back of the eyeballs. Over months, that constant pressure literally changes the shape of the eye. The eyeball flattens slightly, the optic nerve swells, vision gets blurry. Doctors gave it a name: SANS, the spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome. Many astronauts who never needed glasses come home needing them. The station even keeps spare glasses of different strengths on board, in case a crew member's eyes drift mid-mission. And for some astronauts, the vision changes never fully go away. Your body changing height is one thing, your eyes being reshaped by fluid pressure is on another level entirely. This is the change that made flight surgeons most nervous, because the eye is not supposed to be that easy to reshape. And we still have not reached the part that scared scientists the most. That part is hiding in his cells. You may have seen the headline: Scott Kelly's DNA changed in space. It went viral. It is also wrong. So let's clear it up, because the truth is actually more interesting. His DNA, the actual code, did not change. He and his twin are still identical. What changed was gene expression. Think of your DNA as a giant piano. The keys, the genes, stay exactly the same. But space changed which keys were being pressed and how loudly. Around 7% of those changes had not switched back to normal, even 6 months after he landed. Genes tied to his immune system, to DNA repair, to how his body handled orbit. His body had quietly rewired which parts of its own instructions it was reading. So when someone tells you space mutated his DNA, now you know the truth. It changed the volume, not the song. Not science fiction mutation, something stranger. A body adapting to a place humans were never built to live. Now for the weirdest result of the whole study. To explain it, meet your telomeres. At the end of every chromosome sits a protective cap, like the little plastic tip on a shoelace. Every year you live, those caps get a little shorter. Shorter caps are basically your cells aging. So scientists expected a year of harsh radiation would make Scott's telomeres shorter, faster aging. Instead, the opposite happened. In space, his telomeres got longer. His cells looked, by one measure, biologically younger up there. Nobody fully predicted that. Before you pack your bags for the anti-aging space spa, here comes the twist. The moment he came back to Earth, his telomeres did not just shorten again. They crashed. They dropped fast, and he ended up with more short, damaged telomeres than before he ever flew. Short, broken telomeres are linked to aging, to heart disease, and to cancer. This was the result that worried everyone. Scientists think the stress of landing, or that sudden gravity, hit his cells harder than space itself. Most of them slowly recovered over the next months. But the message was clear. Coming home is its own shock to the body. And telomeres point us to the most dangerous thing up there, the one you cannot see or feel: radiation. Out beyond our atmosphere, the station is pelted by cosmic rays from deep space. Down here, Earth's magnetic field and thick air shield you from almost all of it. Up there, in 1 year, an astronaut absorbs the radiation of thousands of chest X-rays. That radiation damages DNA directly and raises their lifetime risk of cancer. It is the single biggest barrier to sending people to Mars. But the body keeps surprising us. Even the bacteria living in your gut change in space. You carry trillions of microbes in your gut that help digest food and run your immune system. In orbit, the balance of those microbes shifts. The mix of bacteria in an astronaut's gut measurably changes. The good news, that gut change mostly bounces back within days to weeks of getting home. Even the heart joins in. With no gravity to pump against, it has an easy job, so it gets lazy and shrinks slightly. Radiation is the one that does not bounce back. That dose stays with you forever, raising the odds for decades. Almost every system in the body quietly renegotiates its job. The only constant is change. So picture the day it ends. After months of floating, the capsule slams back into the air. And in an instant, gravity comes back. The thing your body forgot how to handle. After a year of weighing nothing, your own arm suddenly feels like it is made of lead. Astronauts are carried out on stretchers. Many cannot stand. Some cannot even hold up their own head. Their inner ear, which controls balance, has no idea which way is up anymore. Standing makes them faint because their heart forgot how to pump blood up against gravity. Walking straight feels impossible. They lurch like sailors stepping off a ship after a year at sea. Then begins the part nobody films. Roughly 6 months of grueling rehab back on the ground. relearning to balance, rebuilding muscle, waiting for bones to slowly thicken again. Even the first shower back is a shock. After a year with no running water, the weight of it pouring down feels overwhelming. The trip up takes minutes. The recovery can take the better part of a year. So let's add it all up. 1 year in space stretches your spine and then snaps it back. It eats your bones and melts your muscles. It floods your head and reshapes your eyes. It rewires which genes are switched on. It stretches the clocks inside your cells, then crashes them. It even quietly changes the bacteria in your gut and shrinks your resting heart. And it leaves you with a radiation dose you will carry silently for the rest of your life. Most of it heals, some lingers, a little of it never fully leaves, and the human record for this, not even a year, 437 days. Cosmonaut Valery Polyakov spent 14.5 months aboard the old Mir station to prove a human body could survive a trip to Mars. He came back, walked to a chair under his own power, and asked for a cigarette and a beer. The man was unbreakable. So here is the real question. Knowing everything space does to a human body, why on earth would anyone go? Ask any astronaut, and you get a version of the same answer. Up there you look down and the whole planet fits behind your thumb. Every border, every war, every person you have ever known on one fragile blue marble in an ocean of black. Scott Kelly came home shorter again, weaker, his eyes changed, his cells reshuffled. He says he would go back tomorrow. Your body was built by gravity. For gravity, it is the one rule you have never once broken. They broke it for a year, and their bodies have been quietly trying to forgive them ever since. So tonight, when you stand up from your chair, feel the weight in your legs. That weight is what is keeping you whole. Good night.